Hola everyone, today's game review is going to be about Naked Sun VR. This game was developed by TheRubenazo studio and was released the 17th of July 2018. Although its current platform is a bit fuzzy. It was supposed to release on Oculus and PSVR a month later, PSVR I mean. But now you can only find the game on Steam at $6, which I don't understand. But well, this game looks like it's the first ever commercial game developed by this studio. But let's cut to the chase. Is this game worth the money? Well, we're about to find out. This is TheRubenazo and you're watching Spaniard Reviews, Naked Sun VR. Let's go. Naked Sun VR is considered an on-rails wave shooter, and by that, you cannot really tell its core gameplay. You're always stuck in one place and you move automatically. Its gameplay is further simplified with 4 total tools or weapons: a pistol, a machine gun, a laser or missile launcher if you play arcade or story mode, and a shield. Each one is explained remarkably well in the tutorial thanks to both the video playback explaining it while practicing it. The game takes its time explaining the lore and situation you are in and why you are sent there with this voice acting. Oh god, the voice acting. It takes about 3 minutes for the game to actually begin, which isn't that much, and the transition between the intro and the level itself is non-existent. You won't even see that you are equipped with the handguns when it happens. Each stage has their own aesthetic while keeping some of it the same to not break continuity. The first stage is really chill when it comes to pressure. You are given time to adapt to the gameplay fairly well, and overall it's a fairly good first level. There's also the fact that you don't have neither the shield or the rocket launcher to further simplify controls for a new player. The end of the first stage is okay, but I wish that before your teammate kicks the bucket, you actually had to fight the boss a bit, which is failed potential. The second stage introduces the rocket launcher, the shield, tougher enemies, and the lightning rod. The last one raises the difficulty by itself since you will need to pay close attention if you are in close proximity to it, because it deals a lot of damage. At the end of the second stage, you will be thrown without rails, sliding until a crawl. Sounds fun, right? Well, it will actually have been fun if the entire sequence took more than 6 seconds, because it's just a transition to the finish line. So there's no actual level when it happens. Also, que te jodan, Sparrow. Leaving me behind like this and saying, you are on your own, after taking numerous robots and helping you cross its borders. Que hijo fruta eres, eh? The third and final stage sets you up in an elevator, which removes the chance for the gameplay to get repetitive, but you are still fighting the same enemies you found previously. An enemy with a shield in front of them is not fresh enough to count it as a totally new original enemy. But it's understandable since it's a new indie team with its first ever commercial game, for what I know. But what's not understandable is the voice acting.
He's doing well for a metalhead. Blackbird, do you want a date tonight?
Raven, I always suspected you had a weird taste.
Blackbird, we will make them pay. Blackbird, I knew you would make it.
Why? Look, the performance is terrible. Okay? The tone and the cheesy lines just doesn't land. And by cheesy, I mean absolute cringe. A better performance and the removal of these lines would have made me just roll my eyes a bit less while playing. And as I said, the dialogue could have been fixed, because I'm a killing machine, and hearing those cheesy boy lines just doesn't fit. Look girl, stop being horny for machine. It's not the time. Overall, the amount of time you will spend in the story mode is roughly 40 minutes if you die a couple times. The arcade mode is another story though. Each stage is a copy of the respective story mode stage with a few tweaks. For example, the first one starts you right away with shooting, and the second one doesn't have that ending. When it comes to graphics though, for a first indie game I have to say, they look good. Even after looking at the footage I recorded, the weapons look really cool. The animation that plays when you switch modes is fantastic. The stages are quite nice to look at except this blue dome right here. The layout is convincing enough and the UI is really good. Once you finish the story mode and you want to play arcade mode, you will see how the difficulty is all over the place. I have never been so frustrated before. I have played Space Parrot Trainer, and in comparison, this one fails really badly in difficulty. Easy difficulty? Easy difficulty los cojones. By how each stage is put together, I will consider easy to be medium, medium to be hard, and hard to be impossible. Why? Well, easy mode should be like the medium difficulty in story mode. Chill, slow, with a lot of breathing rooms. But no, it's a bombardment of enemies after enemies with not enough breathing room to coming from all directions in succession. And I, for the love of God, believe the enemies are tougher. They appear to suck up more bullets than a sponge sucks water. Ah, joder, ¿en serio? Esto es easy. Esto es easy. And you can already tell that the devs just chose the easy way out and reused the same layout for the 3 difficulties, which is okay. But I cannot tell what's easy, medium, or hard in this because of how broken the arcade mode is. Like, you don't have any idea on how broken this. Just look at the leaderboards in hard mode, for instance. I couldn't finish the 2 last stages, but I was able to get to top 5. This means that every single person that purchased this game couldn't even finish them, and that is a really obvious red flag that something is wrong. I understand that these devs had to do this because remaking a new entire stage for each difficulty is just too much work. But me cago en los huevos. You can fix this easily with just a few tweaks. Okay, so how could we fix the arcade mode? For hard mode, keep the amount of enemies on screen, but increase the damage both guns do per bullet. Make so any headshot instantly kills any enemy, including the tougher ones, and increase slightly both the health of the player and the shield timer. For medium mode, do the same as hard mode, add a few more breathing rooms, but reduce the amount of enemies by 3/4. And easy mode will be the same as medium mode, but add even more breathing rooms, reduce the amount of enemies by 2/4, and lower slightly the health of all enemies. This will be a proper easy, medium, and hard mode. And I don't understand how broken this is. This could be a clear instance of the devs testing the game themselves without asking for beta testing from other people not involved with the game. When you make something, you play it over and over, and you will eventually be so familiar with the layout it will be second nature to you. But for anyone else, things will be totally different. Look, I'm really tired of this mess of an arcade mode, so why not move into some miscellaneous stuff? For example, this bad boy right here. This is the Rift, or Rift CV1, which means consumer version 1. This thing has a 1080 by 1200 display per eye. The door screen effect is really noticeable. The fact there's also I cannot read text properly. And I need glasses to play, which by the way are scratched, so add that to the handicap. And why do I say this? Well, because of the shield. This thing makes it so anything that I look through turns blue, and if it's already hard to aim at the distance, the added blue to yellow color with its opacity makes enemies and objects harder to look to. Making so the shield is completely transparent would have, at the very least, made this problem slightly more bearable. Now the gameplay itself. So there are some good and some bad. First, the bad. There are a few instances where the game decided to cheat itself. For example, this clip right here. This happened quite a lot. Somehow I'm not hitting the enemy when it clearly should have died. So there are some hitboxes here that aren't properly built. The shield being locked in a specific rotation is a weird restriction. There are chances where having the shield in horizontal position could absorb more bullets. The little forward momentum that the trains have in stage 2 when they reach you are really annoying. It throws your shots off and it's unnecessary. There is something good though. It's really satisfying to blow up enemies with crates and rockets and squish or evaporate the enemies with the few props that are placed throughout the levels. But this doesn't fix anything. As you can see, the negatives outweighed the positives. And by finishing the game, it left me with that sour taste that could have been avoided if the devs cared enough to polish what could have been a must VR title. But I'm not done yet. I could give my score right now, but there are some nitpicks I want to mention that doesn't affect the score, but they still should be mentioned. Let's put the price first. $6. Not the discounted price I paid for. Paying $6 whole for this amount of content is insulting. There's a lack of bosses in this game. Only the third stage actually has one, but it's even repeated 2 times. There's also not a procedurally generated arcade mode option in this game where you can just go in, play around to see how it goes, and how long it takes to die. And no, don't think there's any new content coming in this game because 1, it was released in 2018, and there hasn't been an update since its release. It's not in early access, and there's not a single post in the update section on the Steam store page that could point out to a future patch. It hurts to see this game flop for me, because there's so much potential that this game could offer. Unique boss fights for each story mode stage, an infinite arcade mode for those that seek replayability, a better arcade mode with proper difficulty, a better voice acting and writing, multiplayer, so much more. So taking into consideration everything, like the graphics, the arcade mode, the voice acting, the level design, the difficulty, the fucking difficulty, I will give this game a 6 out of 10. I started this game with a smile on my face when I first booted up, and I left disappointed and frustrated. So no, beware, this game doesn't deserve the $6 they ask you for. There are better experiences in Steam that they ask you the same money. Probably, there are thousands of games there. Do you think I have been harsh? Do you think it still deserves a chance? Do you like my review? If so, comment, and if you didn't do it yet, subscribe and hit the bell. And maybe check out my previous videos. See you in 2 weeks, everyone. Adios.